Let's just get controversial today, why don't we? Hey, I'm Marianne. I'm a mom of two, and our family has been traveling to Disney World ever since my youngest was 3 months old. My kids are now 6 and almost 5, and we have stayed at every single Walt Disney World resort and many other Disney resorts, and also a lot of off-site resorts. So I want to review all of them with you and do a deep dive review, give you some facts, and then also give you some opinions. So I'm coming to you today. I am coming with my laptop because I typed up a bunch of notes, and I also wanted to be able to have this to fact check myself in case I said anything and then I was like, wait a minute, is that true or not? So I could quickly look it up. So I apologize, but I am going to have my laptop as a reference because I want to make sure that this is helpful for you, and I want to make sure that what I'm sharing is correct. Now, my opinion is obviously my opinion. So you can't have a wrong opinion, but I will let you know the reasons why I have the opinion that I do, and we'll go from there. So today we're starting off with something controversial because one of Disney's most popular resorts is actually not one of my go-to resorts for our family. And today we are talking about Disney's BoardWalk Inn and Villas. So let me give you a brief overview about Disney's BoardWalk Resort. It is located on Crescent Lake, which is the EPCOT resort area. It is located on Disney's Boardwalk. So around the boardwalk along Crescent Lake, you have Disney's BoardWalk Inn and Villas, you have Disney's Beach Club, and then you have Disney's Yacht Club, and then over like kind of off of the boardwalk, but still kind of on the boardwalk, you have the Marriott Swan and Dolphin Resort. So because you are in the EPCOT resort area, you have walking distance to EPCOT, but from the boardwalk, you also have walking distance to Hollywood Studios, which is awesome. I would say that depending on your pace, you're about a 5 to 10 minute walk to EPCOT and about a 15 to 20 minute walk to Hollywood Studios. I'm a very fast walker, so I feel like I can get to EPCOT in 5 and Hollywood in like 10, 15. We're booking it in the stroller, okay? So it's really nice that you have the walkability. However, if you're like, I don't want to walk, then you also have the friendship boats. So the boats will take you to EPCOT and will also take you over to Hollywood Studios. So if you're staying at the boardwalk, how many stops you're going to have is dependent on what park you're going to. So if you are going to take the boat to EPCOT, which I wouldn't recommend, by the way, I would just go ahead and walk. But if you have someone in your party that is handicapped and you prefer to take the boats, the boat from EPCOT moves clockwise. So it will go Hollywood Studios, Swan and Dolphin, Yacht and Beach, Boardwalk, EPCOT. So if you are staying at the boardwalk and going to EPCOT, it is the first stop. However, for Hollywood Studios, it moves counterclockwise. So it would go from Boardwalk to Yacht and Beach to Swan and Dolphin to Hollywood Studios. So you would be like on the boat for a little while to get to Hollywood. You also have walkability to the Skyliner. So right before you get to the entrance of security through EPCOT, so there are two park entrances to EPCOT. You have the front entrance, which is where Spaceship Earth is. That's where parking and the buses go. So like, you know, the big EPCOT ball, if you are new to Disney, Spaceship Earth is the ride that is within the EPCOT ball, as some people call it. But there's that area. When you are staying at the boardwalk or one of the Crescent Lake resorts along the boardwalk, you are actually going to be walking into the France Pavilion, like right in between the UK and France Pavilion. There is a separate security that you'll go through, and you would go through the ticket line there. Not only is EPCOT walkable, but you also can walk to the Skyliner, which the Skyliner is right at that France Pavilion, France UK Pavilion entrance into EPCOT. So you can easily take the Skyliner over to Hollywood Studios if you would prefer over the boat or walking. You can also take the Skyliner over to the other resorts, so Riviera, Caribbean Beach, Pop Century, Disney's Art of Animation, and that is really nice and convenient if you want to resort hop. And then like all of the Disney resorts, you also have the Disney bus system. So you will take the bus to Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom. And do keep in mind that usually they are either not running buses or running limited buses if there are alternate modes of transportation. So that being said, it is rare to find a bus to EPCOT or to Hollywood Studios from the BoardWalk unless it's raining. That doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, because it can happen, right? It's Disney, anything can happen. But as a general rule of thumb for transportation, if there are alternate modes of transportation provided by that resort, you're likely to not also have a bus unless weather permitting or emergency purposes or what have you. So again, if there's lightning, thunder, whatever, and the boats can't run, then they will run buses. But generally, you will not find a bus to Epcot and Hollywood Studios from the BoardWalk. But I did forget to mention that you also will have a bus to Disney Springs. So Disney Springs, which will transfer to Typhoon Lagoon. Let me actually double check on that. I can't remember. It's Disney Springs to Typhoon, I think, and then Animal Kingdom to Blizzard Beach, and then Magic Kingdom. But let me double check on that real quick. Okay, yes, I was right. Disney's Animal Kingdom will get you to Blizzard Beach. So if you're leaving from a resort hotel and you're trying to get to one of the water parks, you need to take an Animal Kingdom bus to Blizzard Beach and then a Disney Springs bus to transfer over to Typhoon Lagoon. Okay, that's it for transportation. I know that was a lot, but there are a lot of different transportation options at the BoardWalk, which is one of its selling points, and we love that. We also love the walkability, love the Skyliner access, love the boats. Everything is very seamless, but I will say, you do have the mental load sometimes of wondering, okay, like, how can I get to this park? Whereas the nice part, I will say, something that people don't talk about is that sometimes, like when you're at a value, they talk about how bus is the only transportation. Well, it also can really help alleviate that mental load when you know, okay, I'm taking the bus. Like, that's my only option. When you have, okay, I can walk here, I can take the Skyliner here, I can take the boat here, I can do this here, there's not a bus to this park, there's a bus to this park. Sometimes that can honestly be confusing, and it's more stuff that you have to like keep track in your brain. Okay, so let's talk about the overall vibe and theme of the BoardWalk. So we are talking like Coney Island, Atlantic City, like traditional BoardWalk feel. You really feel like you are immersed on that side of the resort. They do a great job. The theming is not very Disney and in your face, especially not at the resort level. You will have some pictures of like Mickey and Minnie and a silhouette Mickey in some of your room decor, which is nice. The rooms are beautiful in my opinion. They are recently renovated, which is really nice. I love the plaid. I love the BoardWalk vibe, the yellows, the pastels. It just looks really fun. And it is like, think like elevated luxury, like carnival-esque. So if you want like heavy Disney theming, this probably isn't the place. But it is a beautiful resort. The renovations very much needed to happen, and they are very, very nice. So both the inside and the DVC Villa side have been renovated, which leads me to another point. There are two like sections of the resort. So you have the BoardWalk inside, which when you walk into the lobby, if you're walking into the lobby, then the BoardWalk inside is on the right. So those are your standard rooms that you would book direct through Disney. You can also book direct for the Disney Vacation Club side, but these are also Disney Vacation Club rooms. You do not have to be a Disney Vacation Club DVC member to be able to book these rooms. But this is the Villa side that is going to be on your left-hand side. So all of the Disney Vacation Club rooms are going to be to the left of the lobby, and then all of the BoardWalk Inn rooms are going to be to the right of the lobby. You do have a couple different pool options. The main pool is the Luna Park pool. This is what a lot of people think back to the clown slide. They had like their water slide had like a big clown on it, and a lot of people thought it was creepy. It was creepy. I do not like clowns, and it definitely was creepy, but they changed it and it doesn't look like that anymore. You also do have like a little baby pool. They do not have a splash pad. I wouldn't even call it like a kid's pool. It is a baby pool. But that is perfect if you have a baby. And then there is also a playground that is over by the Luna Park pool area as well. The Luna Park pool does have leaping horse libations? I don't know. They have a pool bar and it looks like a carousel. It's super fun. Our family does not drink alcohol, so I can't tell you how the cocktails and stuff are, but I hear a lot of people talk about it and like it, so take that for what it's worth. I have zero opinion about it because I have not experienced the cocktails and beverages there. The food looks to be good, so. The overall vibe of this resort is it's pretty like quiet and low key during the day. I actually was kind of surprised how quiet it is during the day. You do, of course, always have kiddos running around. They have like a big grassy area outside of the lobby that kids are always running, playing, doing whatever on. And then you do have people that are either walking or running the boardwalk in the morning. But I will say it gets cranked up at night, okay? So if you are wanting like a more chill, low-key vibe, this might not be your resort in the evening. So they do have evening entertainment that they bring out in true boardwalk fashion. So you'll have some street performers. They have like some carnival games like basketball, like stuff like that. So it is really fun, but it is very lively at night, which could be something that you want, or it could be something that you want to stay away from. I won't go too much into the different room types. This is like not my expertise. Please reach out to your travel agent with different room types. I'm going to give you like a general overview. I'm not going to give you like a lot of specifics, but on the villa side, they do have the deluxe studios that are available to you. They also have 1, 2, and 3 bedroom villas. These are, I believe they are like resort view, boardwalk view, and maybe just water view. I don't know how something would be water view unless it was a pool view, because Disney does this thing where sometimes like if it's the category water view and you have a view of the pool, that is their equivalent of a water view. So keep that in mind. Again, talk to your travel agent about the different room types. I am not an expert on room types. I'm just generally telling you what they have available. And then on the inside, they have your standard rooms, resort view rooms, water view rooms, and then you also do have suite options over there as well. And then they also do have club level access. So the Innkeepers Club is the club level or concierge level at the boardwalk. Concierge level, 10 out of 10. So good. Here, the Innkeepers Lounge is one of the best, in my personal opinion. They have some of the best offerings, the best staff. It is truly like so great. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later because there's a reason why I want to pinpoint that at this resort specifically. Okay, so overall, like who do I think that this resort is good for? I think it's great for EPCOT lovers, specifically if you love the EPCOT festivals and you want to spend a lot of your time in EPCOT and even in Hollywood Studios. This is a really great resort for you. I also think this is a great resort for families that like to park hop. Or park hop, but also resort hop, because you have the Skyliner access and can easily go to different resorts, go to different parks. I think that because you have so many different transportation options here, it is very easy to park hop. So that is really nice. And I mean for people specifically with young kids that are typically not just going to go from one park directly to the next park, that they're going to come back to the resort, chill for a little bit, and then go to a new park. Okay, so I'm going to tell you all of the things that we love about the boardwalk, and then I'm going to get in and talk about the things that we kind of wish were a little different. Truly, if you are an EPCOT Hollywood Studios family, I can't think of a better location than the boardwalk. Whether you are here at the Boardwalk Resort, you're at the Beach Club, you're at Yacht Club, I mean, truly, this location is just, you cannot get any better than this location if you love EPCOT. If you have a big double stroller like our family does, it's nice that really you're only looking at 2 parks that you have to bus for and break down your stroller. So unless you're on the Skyliner and you have a side-by-side double, you will have to break it down for that. But other than that, it's really nice to not have to constantly like fold the stroller, put it back up, fold the stroller, put it back up, since you can walk to so many places. Or if you have a single stroller and can use the Skyliner, it's just so nice. And depending on how full the boats are, sometimes you don't have to break down your stroller to get on the boat too. They will always accommodate if they can. I will say from personal experience on the, I'm going to call it like marine fleet. I don't know what the proper term is, but generally I will say that I have only had to break down my stroller for a Disney boat going anywhere, like either to the park or to a resort, like probably 10% of the time. Very rare. That doesn't mean that you won't get there and it will be busy literally every time you get on a boat and you have to break it down every single time. That may very well happen, but I do just PSA, sometimes you really don't have to break your stroller down for the boats. You also do have deluxe perks here, which is nice. So if they have extended evening hours, the BoardWalk does qualify for that because it is a deluxe resort. We love the pizza window, and we love just being able to walk around to the other resorts at the BoardWalk, and even over to Swan and Dolphin because they have incredible restaurants over there. Again, if you love the nightlife, like entertainment, then you will love it here because they actually are really great performers and very entertaining. You also have Abracadabra, which is a really popular bar. I've been there before, had my like little mocktail while my friends had some really cool cocktails. So it is a very fun and like lively place. There are a lot of families out on the boardwalk at night, and it is a lot of fun. I think the rooms are great here. Again, they have been recently renovated, which is really nice. Most of them do have balconies, which is also a plus. I really like having a balcony. I just feel like it totally elevates your stay. And I also really like the resort view rooms here. They just feel very peaceful, overlooking like the garden or overlooking the pool or just overlooking the resort. Like generally, I feel like no matter where you stay, even if you're not on the boardwalk, I really do feel like you will, for the most part, have a pretty good view. The rooms are a little bit bigger here. I don't really know what the square footage is, but I will say, like, I was very surprised and pleased with the room size here. We have stayed, so our family personally, we've stayed at the boardwalk 3 times. We have stayed in a deluxe studio on the villa side once. We have stayed in a regular garden view room, like in a standard room, but with a garden view. And then we have also stayed in a 2-bedroom suite club level room, and there was so much space, really great. I will say I was a little disappointed with the decor and the theming of the 2-bedroom club level room. We were pixie dusted upgraded with that room. We were just booked in a regular standard room with club level access, and so I don't say that to complain because I didn't have to pay for it. But I can tell you right now that if I would have paid like $2,000 a night for that room, I would have been disappointed because it was nice, but it didn't wow me. And I've been in other 2-bedrooms, 3-bedrooms, and I kind of like had an expectation after, not even an expectation because again, I didn't have to pay for it. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not upset because I didn't have to pay for it. But if I were paying for it, I would have been like it just felt a little lackluster, to be honest. Okay, so let's get into some things that we personally do not care for about the boardwalk. And again, I know that for a lot of people this is unpopular opinion, but I'm going to give you some facts, and then I'm going to share why we feel that way, and then you take that for what it's worth. There are things that bother me that might not bother you at all, which is great. I overall love the boardwalk, and we keep going back there because I really, 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 really want to love staying here. I just don't think my kids are there yet. So I'll talk a little bit about that at the end of like who I think this is ideal for. But I will say for the pool situation, I do personally think that the pool is a little underwhelming. I know the slide is cool and that they've like updated it, but I just kind of think the pool is small. It's just one of the least impressive deluxe resort pools in my opinion. Actually, I might even say that it may be the least appealing pool for my family out of all of the deluxe resorts. Maybe that and Old Key West. But yeah, I'm going to go so far and say that. And Riviera. Those are like the small kind of pools. There is no, like I mentioned earlier, there is no like really cool splash pad that you'll see at some of the other deluxe resorts, like at the Polynesian, at Wilderness Lodge. You just have like a baby pool, which is really great if you have a baby. I will say this is a great resort if you have a baby. I will say if you are a Magic Kingdom heavy family, then I would probably prioritize a Magic Kingdom resort, just because you will have to do the bus here. If you're like, yeah, we'll go to EPCOT once, I don't know that this would be the resort that I would choose. But if you are in EPCOT and Hollywood Studios a lot, then I mean, this is the perfect one. Again, with the theming, the BoardWalk is a little bit more subtle. I like the design and I like the decor. It's not my absolute favorite, but I do like it. I think it's calming. And we personally don't always like the Art of Animation, Pop Century theming, like in your face theming. Sometimes it's fun for the kids and we love it, but like sometimes we don't want a trip where we're like fully immersed. We want to like really feel like we are taking a break from Disney sometimes. So if that's how your family feels, then this is a good option for you, because in my opinion, it doesn't have a lot of Disney theming. Back to the busyness at night. So this is a place that's going to pop off a little bit at night, and you may love that. For us personally, we tend to not love that as much. It can get crowded, especially when the street performers are performing. And sometimes if you've got a big double stroller and you want to head back into EPCOT, you're just kind of getting through a crowd, which, I mean, it's Disney, so whatever. But the BoardWalk can get a little loud at night, especially if you have a BoardWalk view room. And then also if there is a Run Disney race that is along the BoardWalk, you're going to hear that early in the morning, definitely. So just take that for what it's worth. I personally, for my family, I don't think that we would ever choose to stay BoardWalk view. We would choose to have like a more quiet view and quiet room, like over in the garden view, which is still beautiful. So just again, but it depends on what kind of trip you want. Like if you're attracted to that, like, you know, oh yeah, something's always going on, then you're gonna love staying on the BoardWalk, because there is something always going on pretty much. Okay, so the number one bone I have to pick about BoardWalk, and everyone will tell you this, is the dining situation. They do have really great restaurants like Trattoria al Forno, Flying Fish. You have the pizza window, which my kids would just eat the pizza window, like literally pepperoni cheese pizza all day long. So that's great. And then you have BoardWalk Deli, you have Cake Bake, which is really nice for like a more elevated dining experience, coffee, etc. You have the general store. I think it's like Screen Door or something. But I will say the number one complaint about the BoardWalk is that there's not convenient quick service. You actually have to get down to the BoardWalk to be able to go get any like food or drink. So if you have unwound for the night, your child wants a milk or a juice and you don't have any in the fridge, you've got to go down to the BoardWalk, down to the store. There's just not like a convenient place for you to go and pick up something quickly. So if it's raining, if it's late at night, Florida heat, you know, I feel like you're going here, there, and everywhere to get what you need. And that is actually why I think that we would probably budget and just stay club level at the BoardWalk from now on. Number one, again, I know I've touched on it earlier, but the lounge is incredible. We love the Innkeepers Club, like truly one of the best lounges. We've stayed at all of the club level lounges and it truly is one of the best. I mean, just phenomenal offerings, phenomenal food, phenomenal variety, great for little kids. Like they have these little rubber duckies that you can color, that the kids can coloring, markers and stuff if they want to color on coloring sheets. Just very kid friendly. They have like the rubber duck, like cocktails, mocktails, and drinks for the kids and for mom and dad too. But truly like probably one of the best club level lounges that we've been to. And that resolves the food problem, which is really nice. The one thing while we're on the club level topic that I will bring up, and this may not matter, this doesn't really matter to us, but if it matters to you, this is one of, I think, only two, one of only two, this in Coronado, where you don't have to have Magic Band access in the elevator to get up to the floor. So for the Innkeepers Club, I will say this is like kind of off the beaten path a little bit. Like you go up to the 4th floor and you go down the hall and you're passing a bunch of rooms and then you get to the entrance of the Innkeepers Club. So it is kind of tucked away over there, which is nice because you wouldn't know it was there unless you stumbled upon it. But also if it matters to you that like it feels like this grand, like, what's the word? Like exclusive thing. I will say that that is like the one of all of the lounges that just like didn't really feel exclusive, which again, I don't care about. I'm just pointing this out that like most of the other lounges are right when you get off the elevators. Like you've got the lounge, you've got concierge. Here at the BoardWalk, you're walking through other rooms to get to concierge and the lounge, which again, for us is not a big deal and I could care less about that. But if you like want it to feel like this very elevated, like immersive experience, I'm just calling that out in case you care about that kind of thing. And I don't judge you if you do care about that thing because you're spending a lot of money to stay club level there. And if you want to feel bougie and you want to get off the elevator and feel like you have someone right there to greet you, by all means, honey, you are paying for it. So whatever floats your boat. A couple other things that are specific to our family that I do want to call out of reasons why we tend to not book at the BoardWalk is that I feel like it is difficult to get around here. And you do have to use 2 different elevators to get down to the BoardWalk. So if you have a stroller, that can be a pain in the butt sometimes. So you have to go to the lobby level and then get on a second elevator to actually get down to the BoardWalk. Again, if you don't have a stroller or not handicapped and you can just take the stairs, it doesn't feel like a big deal, but it does feel, it gets to be like an annoying inconvenience the longer you stay there and you're like, here we go, gotta get on the second elevator again. Again, that may not bother you, but when you do it all the time, it starts to just be like, I'm paying a lot of money to stay deluxe and this just kind of feels annoying. But as far as navigating the resort, even after staying there 3 times and like visiting there frequently when we're at EPCOT, like we'll come and chill and get pizza and chill on the grass and stuff. We've walked around the resort several times. I get lost literally every time, not on the BoardWalk side, but like behind the BoardWalk side. If I'm trying to get to Community Hall, if I'm trying to get to the other, pool, if I'm just trying to like walk around the grounds or figure out the walking path to Hollywood Studios, I'm lost every time. And I generally feel like I have a good sense of direction too. Like I would admit it if I'm like, yeah, I'm not. No, I feel like we do. And we just get turned around there so easily. I also will say that if you are like far down the hallway, it is a walk to get to the elevator to get down to the BoardWalk. So like it is not uncommon for you to be staying at the BoardWalk and what should be a 5-minute walk to EPCOT becomes like 10 plus minutes just because of where your room is. The other thing I nitpick is that we actually do use the resort playground quite a bit when we are staying at a resort with a playground. My kids love a good playground, but the playground at the BoardWalk is actually in the pool fence, like the pool gate area. So you do have to wait for the pool to be open before you can get to the playground. And then the other thing is like, if I want to take my kids to the playground, but I don't want to take them to the pool, it's kind of a pain to like walk them through the pool to get to the playground. And they're gonna be like, Mom, I wanna swim, I wanna swim. So just noting that, if you're like a playground family and that's something that you just like wanna avoid, but it is really nice that they have a playground because not all of the deluxe resorts have playgrounds. Okay, so overall, I know this is probably really long and I've yapped so much about the BoardWalk. Overall, I think like who I would gear this resort to would be Honestly, kids and families with babies, because of that like baby kiddie pool, there's not a lot of resorts that have like an actual like baby like pool. That's really nice. And then it's easy to walk back for naps. You have plenty of place for a pack and play, and you're probably not going to be as bothered by the dining situation because you have a baby and they're not eating like kids meals and stuff like that and constantly complaining for something. They just want milk and they want a nap. So I think it's perfect for families with babies. I also think it's perfect for couples, for, you know, older families with older kids, perfect. Like 5, 6 and up kids, I think it's great. Even older, like teenagers, amazing. But right now, to be honest, between the ages of like 2, 3, and like to 5, I just don't think it's a great resort for that sweet spot. Personally, I think that there are other options that are a lot better for that age group. So if you have children in that like specific age range, I know that's very specific, but it just like, to me, that is an age that would be better suited at another resort just because they have, you know, different splash pad, the food is more convenient, etc. But like I said, if you're an EPCOT heavy family, then this is definitely going to be one that should be on your list no matter what. Like at the end of the day, you can take a look at say like, okay, these are the conveniences and these are the inconveniences, and the conveniences definitely outweigh the inconveniences for us. For me, none of these things on my list is like a deal breaker, right? We love staying at the boardwalk. It's fun, but I just personally think that there are better options for our family and for families that have, you know, that like 3, 4, 5-year-old. I think that there are some better options for you, unless you are like diehard EPCOT or boardwalk people. But anyways, I hope this was helpful. Feel free to agree, disagree with me in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button because I will be doing a deep dive of all of the Disney resorts and all of the resorts that we've personally stayed at. I like the boardwalk. I'm not a boardwalk hater, but I just personally believe that there are better options out there for kids. And we will be back at the boardwalk eventually. But let me know, is the boardwalk your favorite resort? Is it one that you tend to pass on? And yeah, I appreciate you being here, and I'll talk to you soon.